Hey, all, this is Keith, and welcome back to the Common Sense Practical Prepper podcast. This is your 1-minute survival tip for August 13th, 2025. Coming to you for the last time this week from our affiliate office in Dallas, Texas. First, I want to take a second to thank everybody who has come to the site in the last couple weeks to listen to the podcast. I've noticed a pretty big increase in traffic, and I appreciate those folks that have left a comment, that have liked, that have followed, and that have shared the podcast with other people. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about apartment prepping or urban prepping, and specifically, we're going to talk about securing your door, discreetly storing your supplies, and then having a bug out bag. So living in an apartment does not mean that you can still not prepare for certain situations. Now, in an apartment, you're kind of in a unique situation. More than likely, multiple people on the floor. Some buildings might connect, elevator, stairs. So you have a few challenges that folks who live in condos or who live in a single family dwelling do not have. Let's talk about securing your front door. Now, this matters because this is your primary entry and exit, your primary egress and ingress to your particular apartment. You can get a more robust or pretty beefy deadbolt, $40, $50, $60. And what it comes down to with a deadbolt is how it is secured into the frame or into the door jamb itself. Most of your deadbolts have very short, not very robust screws that go into the door frame. I'll always call it the door frame from now on. It depends on how your door frame is put together. If there's a lot of space between where the deadbolt is going in and then the door frame, that's wasted space that's not providing any security. You can also get all sorts of like security bars that go across the door, that go at the bottom of the door, that keep it from being kicked in. And you also can get like an alarm. It's about the size of a doorstop. And in the event that the front door is breached, you get a very loud alarm. So when you hear that alarm, there has been a breach at your front door. That's going to give you a few seconds, a little bit of a head start to decide what you're going to do after that. Let's talk about securing your supplies and trying to be discreet because, again, in an apartment, you have a finite area, finite space. Maybe only a couple closets. You don't have a garage, maybe not have an attic. You may not have an extra room that is your dedicated pantry. And maybe there's not a large enough pantry in your kitchen that will store your regular old food that you eat on a daily basis, and then your prepping supplies. One thing to consider is storing your prepping food, your prepping supplies under your bed. You can get the totes, the Rubbermaid totes that are either opaque or kind of translucent. They're the heavy dark plastic or the light plastic that you can kind of see through. What folks have done is put a label on them: winter clothes, hoodies, blankets. And if you can see through or partially see through the tubby, go ahead and put a blanket on the outside. So in the event that someone has entered your home and they look under the bed, they're going to see a little tubby that says winter clothes, and they're going to see like a balled up jacket or what looks like a jacket or a hoodie. There's a chance they're going to leave it alone. They're not going to pull it out and they're not going to go through it. Same thing with the top. If they were to take it out and pull the top off, what are they going to see? A couple Afghans, a couple quilts, a couple blankets. There's a chance that they won't dig any deeper and then just bypass it and go on to something else. There are ottomans that you can lift up the top and you can store product in stores inside there. Now, I would assume that the purpose of those is to put blankets, pillows, extra storage, so you don't have to keep the blankets and pillows out in the open, taking up room. Go ahead and use that to your advantage and put that stuff in the ottoman. They can also be stored in tables. Just be creative. So there's plenty of places in an apartment. Don't let the fact that you live in a smaller dwelling, an apartment, don't let that discourage you from getting your preps together. Finally, let's talk about a go bag. The go bag needs to be readily available, almost at your fingertips, near your front door. Again, you don't have to spend $80 or $100 on a backpack. What you can use for a go bag is very small. If you're leaving an apartment, go ahead and pack for 24 to 36 hours. Keep it light. And when you look at a different backpack to purchase, don't get the ones, the tactical backpacks with the MOLLE and the stuff you can put stickers all over it and hang all sorts of gear from it. What you want to do when you leave your apartment, regardless of the situation, you want to blend in. You don't want to have the tactical backpack on your shoulder going down the road in the event there's an evacuation or some type of emergency, because what people are going to see, they're going to see a tactical backpack and they're going to say, uh-oh, that person knows what they're doing. I bet they have at least a gun, a knife. I bet they're one of those crazy preppers, and they're going to have all the supplies that we need. So blend in. Have something conspicuous, just, a Nike bag or your favorite sports team or something just bland. Don't make it bright pink or bright yellow, but just green, black, blue, just your regular old backpack that you sent your kids to school with or that you carried around in college. That sort of thing. Don't be flashy. Don't have, all sorts of stuff hanging off of it, because you're just making yourself a potential target. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by again. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sending out a review. And thanks for sharing. And as always, be safe out there. Take care of one another. And until next time.